It's your boy Shawn, aka More Fades. In this video today, I will be showing you guys how to do a high fade with a beard trim with some color enhancements as well. With every haircut, I always like to comb through my client hair first to lift the hair off the scalp. And this also helps the guard feed through the hair a lot easier. And I'm also looking for any imperfections that's going on with the hair. So right away, I notice it's a cowlick going on right here. You can see, we're gonna put on the 2-guard, and I'm just gonna start open first just to see how his hair is reacting to it. If it's really not cutting nothing, and then that giving me the go ahead to close it up. With his light spots right here, I don't wanna run over the light spots fully. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna hover right over it because I still want to keep some contrast going on right where his light spot is. And I do not want to run the 2-guard right over his cowlick. We have to use a bigger guard because if I was to go over that cowlick right with the 2, then I will leave a patch. Like this hair will come completely off. So his hair is basically not down on top to the length that I like. So we're just gonna work on that cowlick. And for the back, you see me cutting it the way that his hair wants to grow. That's also very important as well. You always want to cut the hair in the direction that it's growing. So I'm just gonna throw on a 4-guard just to be safe. Now I'm gonna comb it out the way it wants to grow. You can see this side wants to grow that way, this side wants to grow this way. But I'm just gonna lift it up so you guys can see it a little bit better. So we're gonna go against the grain when we cut this. And this is the 4-guard, so it's really not gonna do that much damage. And we just wanna knock this down a little bit. And I'm just feeding it through with just like the last 2 teeth. So now when I comb it back over, you can see it's laying down. And we're just gonna run back through it and do the same exact thing. I'll come back over here, and we're just gonna run them right into it. And I know for sure this is not really gonna do anything, but I'm playing it safe, because I don't want to risk patching the client. So now when I comb everything back down, it's laying down a lot better for me. And with the sides, we're gonna knock him down with the number 4, but we are still gonna give him a taper. So the 4 is really not cutting nothing, so we're gonna jump right down to the number 3-guard. So we're gonna fade this right into that number 2. And right when I get up to the top, I'm just gonna start to just flick right out. Because we're not trying to create a line or put one in, we're just trying to just smooth out the transition for us. Just knock down some of that hair on the sides and knock down some of that bolt. So all we want to do is just smooth out some of that bolt. Going straight up, and I'm flicking right out when I get to his parietal ridge. I'm just gonna start the guideline basically right where you see the line at. So we're just gonna come right here and just set in our first initial bar guideline. And he cannot take the foil shaver, so we are not going to go all the way down to the skin. Now we're gonna set in our first guideline. No guard open. And we're gonna go up about a ½ inch. And I'm going over this guideline multiple times just to make sure that I have it down to its desired length. Now to take out this line, I'm gonna start close. I'm gonna start to tap at the line. Now, the minute I see this line shift, that's when it's giving me the okay to open up my lever 1 notch, and I'm gonna go right underneath that guideline. Now, once I see that line go up, I'm gonna go halfway with the lever, and now I should be at the very top of the guideline, and my line should be faded out. Next, I'm gonna throw on the 1-guard, and I like to start close when I am using the 1-guard. And I'm gonna go up about a ½ inch as well. And you can see how I have to keep going over this guideline multiple times just so the hair can cut, but we keeping everything nice and consistent. Next, I'm gonna use my half-guard, and I'm gonna start halfway. Now I'm going to go right in the middle of this 1-guard, right in the middle, and I am halfway. Halfway in the lever, halfway in the guideline. And you can see his hair is growing sideways, so that's the way that we need to cut. Right when I start to see it lighten up, I'm going to close my lever up 1 notch, and now I'm going to go a little bit lower than what I just was. And you can see I'm starting to get a fade now. Now I'm gonna go all the way close. Now I need to be at the very bottom of that guideline, the very bottom. Now we're gonna use the 1.5, and I'm gonna start open. And now I'm not trying to create another guideline, so now you see me using the scoop out motion. Because I'm not trying to create another guideline, I'm just trying to soften this line up to get ready to take it out. Now I'm going to close it, and now I want to go a little bit lower than what I just was open. And you can see that line is starting to lighten up a lot for me. Clients that fall asleep, man, like usually I don't really mind when clients are falling asleep because like that just shows me like they are very relaxed. We have to think about some clients, when they come into the shop, you know, they just getting off work, so they tired. They might have had a long night. Maybe they got a baby at home or something. So you really never know what a client is dealing with. So when a client is falling asleep in my chair, you know, like I just take it as in they're relaxed. When it starts to bother me is when I'm trying to cut and then like their head just keep bobbing down and it's really like slowing me down from actually trying to give them a haircut. So I'll probably tap them and be like, hey man, you awoke, man? Like, what's up? You know, just make it into like a joking matter. So now we about to take this line out completely. So I'm gonna go halfway in the lever, and now I'm just basically gonna start using the hilt of the blade, and I'm gonna be using a feather motion. My touch is gonna be very, very soft. So now we just trying to just take out this line. I'm not trying to put in another line, I'm just trying to just take this line out. And you see me cutting and I'm brushing. Cutting and I'm just laying the hair back down just to see how everything is coming out. So now I'm gonna close it and I'm just gonna go right underneath that line. And you can see the fade is starting to come together now. And you can see how I'm stretching the skin as well. Stretching the skin helps because you are actually stretching the skin to its full potential, and it's easier for the guard to go through the hair. And it's also helped take out them lines. I'm just gonna clear out some of this bulk and all this weight that I see right here. So I'm gonna use the 2 guard and I'm gonna go open. And I'm just gonna try to lighten that up a little bit for me. And notice that I am not going all the way up because I know I'd already knocked him down to a 3. So this is all a 3. So I do not wanna take the 2 all the way up there. Now I'm gonna close it and now I'm gonna go right underneath it. And you can see how much that lightened up for me. Now we are gonna be doing a high taper, but I'm gonna put a curve to it and I'm gonna put it behind the ear. So to set in this guideline, you're gonna see me use a curve. Yeah. So now you see me use a curve and now I'm just gonna take all the hair off at the bottom. So now we're gonna bar this out for another transition. So I'm just gonna be using just the single side. And I'm not trying to create a harsh guideline, so you see me flicking out. Right when I get to the top, I'm just flicking out a little. Now I'm gonna go open and I'm gonna go up about a ½ inch, but I'm still gonna keep that same shape that I made, that circular guideline that I made, almost like a rainbow shape. I still wanna keep it. We're gonna fold down his ear, we're gonna cut down some of that hair down there. Now to take it out, we're gonna go close. And now I'm gonna start to tap at the line. And I'm just using the corners, I'm not using the full blade. And the minute I see it shift up, I would open up my lever 1 notch and I would do the same exact thing. Now I'm going to go halfway in the lever and I'm going to be at the very top of the guideline. Now we're going to throw in the 1 and I'm starting close and we're going to keep the same exact shape. I want to put in that U. We're keeping everything consistent and we're not going to put in any sloppy guidelines. I have the half guard and I start halfway in the lever and I'm going to go halfway into that guideline. I'm still using the corner of the blade. I am not using the full blade. Why I'm not using the full blade? Because I'm working in a smaller area. I do not want to risk bringing this fade up or create another guideline. So that's why I'm using the corners. Now I'm gonna close my lever up 1 notch and I'm gonna go a little bit lower than I just was halfway. Now I'm gonna close the lever up all the way. Now I need to be at the very bottom of that guideline. I know everything right here is a number 2. So now I'm just gonna throw on the 1.5 guard open, and now I'm just going to start to just feather out this line. And I'm just going to use the hilt of the blade. And I do not want to create another guideline. I just want to start to soften it up. So I am scooping.
Yo, Shawn.
Yo, what's up, bro?
I was watching one of your haircut tutorials.
Yeah.
And you was talking about like a hot spot. Like, what do you mean by like a hot spot?
So a hot spot is basically a dark spot in the fade that's throwing it off and killing your transition? That's actually a real good question because I'm coming up on some hot spots right now and I can really tell you exactly what that means. Now that the fade is completely done, now you can see all these little dark spots that you see in the fade that need to be detailed out and really take it to the next level. So what I'm gonna do is, this is basically a hot spot right here. That's what I see, this is what I see, this is what I see. So how do I handle that? I go no guard open, and I'm basically had the clipper like slanted all the way, and I'm just gonna slice right through it. It's a hot spot. That means I had to hit that spot to really make this fade really pop and take it to the next level and get that blurry effect. And you can see as I'm hitting these spots, it's already making the fade look 10 times better. And you can do this with scissor over comb. You can do this with your thinning shears. But I like to do most of my detail work with the clipper open. And I'm a real freak when it comes down to detailing the fade, man. I feel like this is what separates a lot of barbers from the most. This is what really make your work stand out, by just taking that extra time and just detailing the fade for the client. And the client, they don't know that I'm detailing out this fade, but they know that I'm taking my time with their haircut, and they know I'm trying to get them crispy as possible. So the client always notice, when you taking your time on the fade, because they can care less if I'm over here detailing a fade. Only thing they care about, that I'm taking my time, I'm giving out good customer service and giving them a good haircut.
As a barber, you feel like talking to your client like customer service is important, or you think like as long as I give them a blurry fade, we're gonna be good? Like, what do you think?
Now that I've been cutting hair for a while now, I think cutting hair is just like 2% of our service.
What?
I think customer service is 98% of our service. I think actually bonding with your client, getting to know them personally, and figuring out where they work, do they have a family, what things do they like to do. I feel like engaging with your client and getting to know them is way better than actually giving out the blurriest haircut or giving somebody the sharpest lineup that you possibly can. Because me, that's something that I took a lot of pride in the past 2 years, is really focusing on my customer service, getting to know my clients, like getting to opening up more to them. And I feel like once I start doing that, not only did I build a special bond with my clients, I also started getting paid a lot more as well. So yes, I do think customer service is more important than giving out a blurry fade. Now it get crazier when you are giving out great customer service and you giving out fire haircuts. It's gonna take you a long way, man. That's really how you stand out from the rest as well.
Shawn, what do you feel like is one customer service tip that you really feel like took your customer service to the next level? Where like you felt like people were paying you better and you just had like a better time cutting hair?
Being more relatable. And what I mean by that, I wouldn't even like write this stuff down. I just have real good memory when it comes down to my clients. I already know what kind of haircut Jim want. All I gotta say is, are we doing the same thing? He said yes. Right after that, I get right to it. Hey Jim, man, like how was that wedding that you went to? Or how was that little vacation that you took? Now that I remembered what he told me already, he know that I'm paying attention and he know that I care. That's some things that you can do to be better with your customer service. I have clients that I say things to them and I forgot that I even said to them, and when they come in for their next appointment, they mention that to me. And I'd be like, oh wow, like they remember that. So clients do pay attention and clients remember the things that you say to them as well. Hey bro, I got a question.
What's up, Shawn?
Can you drop a gem for the future shop owners, how it's been opening up a shop?
I would tell you to learn how to deal with so many different personalities. So barbers are 1099, so you can't just go around telling people what to do. And since you can't do that, you gotta find a way of how can I become the type of person that people wanna genuinely listen to? And I think there's a great book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that book really, really helped me out in just terms of learn how to have better interactions with barbers and how to just get my point across, I think, in a way where they actually wanna do things that I'm talking about. If there's certain things like greeting clients when they come in, or getting Google reviews, or taking out the trash, cleaning the bathroom, if you want those things to be done in the shop, you gotta start by doing them first and lead by example, and then let people become inspired and then follow suit after the fact. Shawn, when it comes to you being a barber and you working these long hours in the shop and then going and editing YouTube videos, you're working a lot. Like, what would you say is like your why for barbering? Like, why do you work so much?
Well, obviously, I think the reason what everybody would say is like because of their families and stuff. But to be honest with you, man, like I feel like I really just found my why in barbering and why I do it. And that's when I started my YouTube channel. Like, I feel like I found my purpose on why I really like doing this. And I think it's because I like educating. I like actually teaching people how to cut hair, and one thing I noticed, there's a lot of barbers out here that's actually struggling with stuff that's actually so simple. And for me to be able to help them through a YouTube video, man, and I'm getting a lot of feedback, I think that's where I really found my why at on why I'm a barber. All right, so now in this part of the haircut, I'm about to just start lining up his neckline. And you must be very careful when you are lining up the neckline that you are not pushing the client back. You know, you just want to hit the hair that's just hanging right over. And right when I come around the ear, I like to just fold down my client ear, and I like to just slightly just make my arch and take my time. And all the extra hair that's hanging over, I like to just clean them right up. Every time when I'm doing any line, I always like to hit the line twice, just to really make sure that I got it crispy as possible. So we're just gonna comb the hair out, and all the hairs that's hanging over, we're just gonna just tap them. And I'm having a super light touch. I like my trimmers super gapped. You have to have a very soft touch when you are lining people up. So I've been watching you on Instagram. I don't understand like why you be coming out telling people how much money you make and stuff like.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, bro. Like, I feel like it come off like kind of cocky. Like, why do you do that?
I used to think the same thing, to be honest with you. That's why I never wanted to do it. I never wanted anybody to share how much money I made. I wanted to be humble. One day I was talking to my mentor, I was talking to Basio, and I was telling him my frustrations, how I never wanted to go ahead and actually say how much money I made. But he told me something that I still remember to this day. It really depends on the reason why you're sharing that information. Are you sharing how much money you make because you think that it makes you better than people? Or are you sharing how much money you make to inspire somebody else of what they can achieve? I don't mind at all. I'm super vulnerable. I'm super transparent. I'll show numbers, receipts, or whatever. And it's not for me to brag. It's not for me to come off as cocky, but it's for me to inspire somebody else. Like, yo, if you actually take this career seriously, it could actually really do something for you and change your life. You stop messing around.
So now to start his lineup, remember what I said, how he got a calic right here on his front line? So I'm gonna show you how to line that up the proper way. How I start my lineups, I always like to start dead smack in the middle because this is my balance. Everything flows from the center of the lineup. So we're just gonna go right there and we're gonna start to make our line. Now, I don't want to cut right into this calic. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to, instead of cutting right into it, I'm going to push right into it. So now when I push right into it, now I'm able to hit them little baby hairs that's sticking right over it. Because if I was to go ahead and hit that calic straight on, I can possibly damage his hairline and I can leave a bald spot right there. And he is light right in his corners, so we just wanna ghost line that and we're just gonna go straight across. So how I like to apply my enhancements, I'm gonna use my Shawn Cuts Hair Color Enhancements card, and I'm just gonna put the card right on the line, and I just like to mist. So I like to spray on the card and let it just mist right onto the hairline. And we really don't want to use a lot of enhancements. We just want enough just to color in them light spots. And you can see how his vertical bar come down slanted. That's how I kept it. It's natural. When you guys use the discount code, man, just save it as well, because you can use the discount code more than once. Once again, you can find these products at Tomb45.com. Use the discount code MOREFADES for your 10% off. Now I'm going to use my Tomb45 straight razor. I call this the Black Knight. And guess where you can get this from? You can get this from Tomb45.com as well. I like to stretch the skin. They give it way more attention, and it's just going to slide like butter. And I'm going to keep everything nice and natural. And hold the razor at a 45-degree angle, and you're going to get a crispy line. Now we're going to straight razor the front edge, just getting rid of all that stubble. And when you are using the straight razor, ask the client, you know, can they take it on their skin? Because some clients, they cannot take the straight razor at all. So just don't pull out the straight razor and just start straight razoring up your clients. Always ask them before you do it, because a lot of people, they cannot take it.
Because this is definitely the most respectable hairline I think you've given me. That thing was more respectable than the wedding hairline. Oh yeah, this is nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. Very nice, very nice. That's a really nice shot.